I recently took a trip to Brixton on the southern end of the Victoria Line to head to a show that I've been meaning to watch for a long time. After a successful first season back in 2022, the show has returned to London once again with some new cast members. And that's why I made my way through Brixton Market and along the railway bridge to Brixton House, a brilliant theatre venue where I would be watching the award-winning tube-themed adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. I have to say, this venue is very impressive. I mean, look at that artwork. So, slightly early, I stepped in to greet my companion for the day, who very kindly managed to organise special press tickets for the show.
Look at this, it's a roundel throne, like a throne for... I'm not a king, but or a queen, but yeah, this seat
the king of transport photography.
Well, or the pauper.
Soon the crowd started steadily growing inside the box office and cafe area, and people were let into the auditorium, which had what is, in technical terms, called a traverse stage. We noticed the no filming during the show sign, but first, while we waited for the play to commence, the transport nerd in me was getting excited at all the tube-themed decor. So one last thing before the show starts, we've entered the theatre. There are 6 panels on the walls. The whole thing is very nice. There's maquettes on the stage, and the panels have some kind of satirical posters. There's the Jabberwocky is watching, there's a map of the line, there's See It, Slay It, Sorted. There is a Poetry on the Underground poster which says no rhymes, and then there's also some safety posters as well. The setup's very nice. You can already see that we're going to be very much up close to the actors. So we've reached the midpoint of the show, the interval, which lasts about 20 minutes. So I'm just walking up the steps here to the highest row. You can look back on the whole theatre there. The set's amazing, the lighting's amazing, the special effects are really nice. It's a very funny show. There's so many references to all the tube stations. I think Luke's counted about 70 at this point, and we're only halfway through the 2-hour show. What I found most impressive was the ingenious use of the set to bring the story to life. And so I was really excited to go on a special tour that was led by the lovely stage manager to see what goes on behind the scenes.
So back there, this is where we do all of our quick changes and things like that. You'll see that we've got the curtains up. That's so that we don't have loads of light coming through onto the stage. And you'll also can see all of our props. So these are all the bits that go onto stage. That are all on wheels, and we wheel them out and through. We often get stuff on the curtains, unfortunately.
We were also shown that there is a live feed of the stage, as well as a microphone which is used for the tube announcements made by characters such as the Cheshire Cat and the various costumes used. We also got to step onto the stage via the tube tunnel style entrance, and were shown how some actors exit the stage during the show using trapdoors that lead down to a very narrow corridor leading back out of the theatre, as well as how the ceiling is lowered for an important scene in the play.
And that's where you can operate the ceiling from. So from there, obviously don't have a really good eye line of the stage. So we've got someone who will stick their head through here, and then we've got someone positioned up there, and they're telling me when to start and stop so that it's in the right place.
And then we were led upstairs, through a corridor and into an area where some of the technical parts of the show are remotely controlled.
So from this, you'd be able to see this is where our sound operator is, and then over there we have our lighting desk, and our stage manager, our DSM, who operates the lights, also calls a lot of the cues to us. But because she's here, can't see all the stage, so she's got to have CCTV cameras pointed so that she can see various bits.
After the tour, I had a great talk with 2 of the cast members, telling them how the entire performance had really blown me away, especially the fun new music that had been written for this 2024 run of the show.
When we were rehearsing and we were trying to flesh out who these characters were, I have something that works to my advantage but is also quite difficult. All my characters are deliberately meant to be iterations of Mum, the different sides of Alice's mum. So when Alice comes face to face with them, she can see that, and then she can bring that when she comes back to Wonderland. So I found it a really fun process. It's been really fun, like drawing inspiration from real people in my life and how they can influence those characters.
How do you think tonight's show went?
Yeah, it was good. Really nice to have a full audience of families in families are the best audiences to do it for, because it's a real family show and there's something in it for everyone, regardless of age, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I absolutely would. I had so much fun watching the show. And how long have you been doing this role for?
So this is my second time in the show. So I was in the show in 2022. Back when it first ran. So we did a month's worth of show then, and we have about 50 performances this time. So I think this was our 7th or 8th performance out of 50.
So in the sort of behind the scenes process with all the technical side of things, have you felt a lot of support with all of the special effects that happen throughout the whole thing, and the stage combat that happens?
We have had an immense amount of support. This show wouldn't be what it is. Like, obviously, there's only the 6 of us that you see on stage, but it wouldn't be what it is without our casting, without our crew. Both in the rehearsal room and in the theatre, they have been absolutely incredible with making the show what it is in terms of how brilliant it looks, but how supported and how well looked after we feel when we go to do things like stage. We have fight directors for this, which I didn't know when I was signing up to the show, that I was going to be working with stage combat and with fight directors and things like that, but they have, throughout the process, really listened to us as well. So if there's things where we thought, it would be better if it feels like this, or why don't we try this, or can I add a move here? They're like, yeah, we can totally do all of that. So yeah, we've got an amazing team behind us, so huge shout out to them.
I love your rapping.
Thank you. Thank you. That is Jarrell Falconer,
musical
our
side
rapper.
of the show, it's great. Now I heard that you do a lot of kind of very fast change behind the scenes as you change between different characters.
Yes.
So could you tell me a little bit more about the stress?
Yeah, it's almost a bit like doing a sport or something. Like, you do your scene on the stage and then you run off, and you have about 20 seconds to change from a football supporter into... There's a character who wears a full morph suit. So I think, like, when you get the rhythm of it, when you've done it enough times, you get the rhythm of it, and it is like doing a warm-up for a game of football or something. Like, we have an amazing stage management team. We have 4 stage managers on the show, and they're really helpful in terms of, like, they'll do some things, I'll take some things off, pull like the arm on. Yeah, it's quite funny. It'll probably be quite funny to watch that. It's like a whole other show in itself, I think.
So, Alice in Wonderland is running at the Brixton House Theatre until the 4th of January. So you can book tickets for the show on their website, which is on screen now. I spoke briefly with Tatenda, who plays Alice, and she agreed with me that any train enthusiast would definitely love the show. But before we leave, we have time for one quick thing. For the conclusion, plug your book, please.
Zoom out a bit as well, because I'm in a roundel seat, I have to do this in a roundel seat. This is my new book that's just come out. It's called Contrast on the London Underground, and basically it's got loads of beautiful photos, which is contrasting elements of London Underground, night and day. I have to again.
Talking about the contrast of night and day, it had gotten dark since we entered the theatre, so it was time to head home on the train and jump into an adventure in Wonderground.